Hi everybody, this is Michael from TeensTech.com, and here I'm going to do a quick comparison of the operating system of the iPad versus the Xoom, Honeycomb versus iOS. Now I understand that that is kind of an unfair comparison, so I'm not, because the iPad does not have a dual-core processor, while the Xoom does, and it's not the iPad 2, but this is just software. Okay, so first off we have the Xoom and the iPad. So they both have lock screens to enter the device. The iPad has the time up here and a slide switch right here, and you can press this to have a slideshow, whatever you want. Then you can have it slide to unlock. Sorry, froze a bit. Okay, so now that's how that unlocks. The Xoom, on the other hand, has a kind of a newer and cool design, where you have the time right here, very modernish, and you have this little thing that you spin around, you bring it to the side, it unlocks. Okay, so you have home screen right here, and that's where you can have widgets and everything. You can have applications sitting wherever you want them to. Here's a widget that can move around. Here's my books, and here's a bunch of applications. You press apps, and here's a list of apps. Much like on the iPad, the screen, right? So pretty much, this is the iPad, and this is the Honeycomb. Now, if you want to just show my apps, ones you purchased, or the ones you downloaded, you can press that, versus all, which is every app that you have on the device in alphabetical order. You can see as you move it over, there's like a shadow ghost effect that appears right here, which is kind of cool. Here, it's just a nice slide through, very smooth. And it holds less apps, but I guess it looks nicer in a way. Like, and then this has a limit, I think, of 10 displays. This one I don't think there is a limit, because there's so many apps you can put. And for here, the home screen's like a desktop. So if you want to add, let's say, CNN, hold it down, you can choose the desktop you want to put it at. So I chose that one, and I just put it down. There we go. If I want to add goggles, let's say, I can either just drop it kind of right in the corner. You don't actually have to do it specifically, and it just does it right there. Right, so that's kind of how adding applications to the home screen works. Now, with the iPad, you can't really do that. All there is just you can move these. If you hold this down, you can just move the apps around different home screens, which you cannot do right here. But if you want to have it customizable, you can move these around. And also, if you install an application on here, it's a setting, and you can allow it so it automatically puts it on your home screen. So it's much like Apple's device. So the notification system on the iPad is very obtrusive. It pretty much just a notification pops up right here. It just says Words with Friend game or new email or blank. Actually, not email. I'm sorry, but it says like Words with Friends game or any other application you have can have some sort of notification. Here, instead, it has notification on the bottom right. So if you send an email, somebody sends you an email, you'll have a little bing, and you'll see a mail icon right here. You just press, and you can see the little notification, or you press this, and you have it down here. This is your quick settings menu, where it's like a time, date, and wireless you're on, and things like that, and battery. You press here again, and you have a little more settings. You want super settings, which your entire settings. You press here. Now this is your settings window. On the iPad, also on the iPad, if you press the home button, it goes home. Tablets, the Honeycomb tablets, do not have home buttons. Instead, they have on-screen buttons, I'll show you a bit later. But if you can see in settings, they're pretty similar, dual panel display. Google sort of copied the dual panel idea from Apple, but now they call it fragments. So if you go to like wireless, they're similar. There are a lot more settings on here, because you can do a hotspot and all that. But they're pretty close. There are a couple settings here that are not on here at all, such as a bunch of sound settings are new. There's a lot of privacy, backing up accounts, storage, you can see everything, what's using everything, language, accessibility, you can have, it talks back to you whatever you press, account syncing, and like about tablet and date and time and all that. So in here it's similar. You have mail, wherever you want. And within here you can have your application settings right here, like Flipboard, iBooks. So that's the settings. So I'm going to go back to the home button and all that. So here, press the home button and that's it. It takes you home from an application. Home. And that's how it is on the iPad 2, and that's how it is going to be, I'm guessing, on the iPad 3 too. So you're on the settings, you press home. Rather on here, you press calendar, and then you press home. And the home button instead is this little thing right here. It's a little home icon. And this bar down here is in every single application. Whether you're watching a movie or anything, you press that home button and that works. And there's also a back button. Because much like on an Android phone, you have a back button, home button, and a menu button. There is no menu button anymore. It's just like this. So you press home, back. There's also this multitasking menu, which shows you your most 5 recent applications. Okay? And that allows you to see an application that you want to use. Let's say you're just in settings, you press that, and you're there. So that's not similar to the iPad. I don't have the new operating system on here, but you double tap the home button, and this thing goes up, and you're going to see a bunch of applications on the bottom that you are running. But it's not actually multitasking. It's more like quick changing. So that's everywhere, and the notification is always there too. So this multitasking does not really work as well. And there's one button on the device. This really has none, except for volume and the back button and the off button. Now there's also Google Search right here, which you can either search your applications or you can search your music and everything. It's like a universal search. Plus you can search whatever it's called, Google Search. Now over here it's a similar thing. This does the same thing, but this one does not search the web too. And this is more customizable. You can change what you want to search and all that, and Twitter, whatever you want. So pretty much you type in, let's say, music. It then shows you the music application on the right, and it shows you Google searching ideas for music. Well, on here, to music, it just searches your email if there was music, but let's say iPod. It just shows the application, no Google searching. So you press home again. Home, okay. Next I want to show you is Google Maps. These are both native applications, sort of, that Google versus Apple has found. So if you go over here, you can pretty much search, like you can zoom in much on both devices. If I was here, so let's say we both do Empire State Building. So there's the Empire State Building. And you can see how it has those squares until it loads, right? And you can see there's kind of a 3D building there. So if I was to do Empire State Building here, first of all, Honeycomb Android allows you to do voice search and voice text and voice everything. If I press this, Empire State Building, searches that same place. You have this little menu right here of other things. You can then zoom in, and you can see you can also twirl like this. Unlike here, you can't do that. And you can see how 3D buildings appear too, but if you move downwards, you can actually fly around the 3D building, which is really cool. And also, yeah, so let's say you want to look at, I don't know if you can see here, but there's a place here called Baby, or Babe. You press that, doesn't work. Let's say there's something here called Resolution. Press that, it then gives you more information about it. So you can just like surf around the place and you can look around. There also, you can change all this, all the layers. While in here, change layers. Kind of cool. You scroll this thing up and you change it there. Next would be the calendar. You can see, let's see. Let's see, let's find a good date. There we go. So it's a random day. Now if I go to calendar on here, if I can find it, the calendar is missing. There we go. the calendar on here is empty because we don't have anything, because this is actually through Google Apps or Gmail. Now you can see here, Apple's taken this whole idea of like old paper, old-fashioned classic look in all their applications. So you can see here, you want to do a month. It looks nice. You can scroll down here between dates and all that. Nice little animation. You do a week. You can do that. Day. Scroll through what's happening that day. Press around. There's a little flip paging. Search it. Whatever you want. Add something. Looks like this thing's not leaving. Okay. Yeah. After you press the add button, it shows right there. On the Xoom, it's a bit different. It's more of a modern look, and it kind of looks like the online, whatever it's called, the online Google Calendar. So if you look here, you can scroll through nicely. Very modern look, and this is the look that Google's taken throughout their entire applications. You press week, and you can see it kind of does a transition sideways. Press each day you want. Scroll through. You want to do month, day. Scroll through the day with all this right here. Add something, you press this and it brings you a larger area, adding guests and everything. And there's also the settings and all that. So that's mainly the difference. And also, let's say you want to do mail. Mail there, and Gmail here. So they're very similar looks. So you can see here, there's your email right here versus email right here, versus what you want to look at right here. Just to say show pictures. Pictures aren't showing, but you can see it's kind of a similar look. You have your email right here, whatever you want to, all your other emails right here. You press mailboxes to go through all the different mailboxes, and you just scroll them up and down like that. There's that animation right here, no animation here. You can press like reply, and it brings a nice, really clean look, versus here, it's not as clean. It clumps up, and you have all this other stuff around it. But let's see. Whoops. So yeah, so that's that. If you like, for here, you can actually just go back and just look at all your stuff right here, plus your email right here. Versus here, you can't do that. You have your mailboxes, and it still keeps that right there. Holding it landscape. Where's it called? Yeah, holding it landscape like this on the iPad has your full email right here, and you press your email and you see it right there. Versus on here, if you hold it landscape. Oh, that was a glitch. Whoops. Okay, well, I guess we can't show you that. Well, it pretty much keeps the same thing. This is still glitchy hardware running a test build. So, landscape home screen here looks the same as on the iPad. Right here, and they all can be held any way you want. And those are the main apps. There's the Market versus App Store. Market on the Honeycomb, or at least on the Xoom, can only be held one way, and that's sideways. So there's some cool animations here. You can like slide this thing through, and you can see. This is higher. You can like see how that thing comes forward. And you can scroll right here. It's still the same clean, modern look. On here, it has that weird curved look with a lot of circles and stuff like that, and like rounded squares. Press home there. Another application that is very different is the browser. So here you can see that there are different tabs, versus on here your tabs are here. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's a bunch of squares around, versus you have all your tabs like in Chrome right here. It's a very modern look still, much like the Gmail and all the other stuff. You have extra settings right there. You have extra settings within your settings on the iPad. And this is actually much faster. I don't know if it's because of the dual core or because it's just Chrome, but it's much faster, and it includes instant search and all that. So that's the main difference, mainly the tabs, and it adds a bit more function. You also have Books, Google Books versus iBooks. So Google Books, so iBooks, we don't have any books, but it shows it, actually I do, like a bookshelf versus here it's like this 3D carousel. If you want to read a book, you press it, read a book on here, you press this. And the page, and see that's a nice animation opening up, and the page turning is a bit different. This one goes in, and it's really smooth and it looks really nice. Versus this one that, like, you can move it around a lot. And you can see the other side as you're going and like imprinted on the other side. That's the main difference with that. And you can see how the menu buttons have hid away so you're able to read well. YouTube has a huge revamp in Honeycomb. So find YouTube here. Search it. So YouTube on here is sort of ugly compared to this. So you have your just squares, whatever it is, but this is all a nice UI. If you press home, you actually have this 3D carousel, another 3D carousel of the applications that, I don't know why they're not loading here, but that's that. You click something and you can watch it right there. And that goes full screen versus this is like a normal YouTube. That's that. And then the lastly is camera, I think, which is not on the iPad, but on here it does this. So you can see that. If you want to like switch around the camera, you do this, and there's this nice wheel right here. Let's leave that. And that's not an option on the iPad as of right now. Let's see. Contacts is nice and clean on here. You can see that, and contacts on here. It's the same book effect. It looks cool. Oh yeah, music. If I can find my music here. So the music on here is this 3D carousel once again. That's kind of trying to defeat the whole cover flow that Apple did. Looks really nice, really smooth. You can also have it have like albums like this, which looks nice. You have this, it has this nice 3D effect. Well, on here I don't have any music, but it's just a list or just icons. So I think that that Google beats them, even the music app, which Google's never done before. Gallery looks nice in both. You can see. Going to movie covers. I don't know if I have any pictures here. You can see here, this has like this nice 3D effect. We can do this. While on here, the 3D effect is how you can hold this thing like this, and it does this like holographic thing. Let's see, and it looks really cool. So if I was to do music covers, press this, press that. You can just go through on the bottom, much like on the iPad. You go through on the bottom too. Crisp, zoom in, whatever you'd like. Okay, that is mainly it. I'll see if I find anything else. Got that. Gmail. So pretty much those are the main differences. They are big differences, and that's like I personally like this operating system better in that way, at least user interface, because of the voice search, because of the YouTube. A lot of it's just a lot nicer, I think. So just subscribe to teenstech.com, Teens Tech Reviews YouTube channel, and I will hopefully create just a review of the Xoom and maybe a comparison of all three of these to the Galaxy Tab, which I also have. So don't forget to subscribe. Talk to you later.